Today I'm just kind of, I don't know, playing a game. Playing a game I like. Is there anything wrong with that? I feel like sometimes people get caught up, including me. I'm not going to pretend like I'm innocent or high and mighty above people. But I feel like sometimes people will be too focused on what they think will be good or what they think works, and they lose the fact that they want to be doing something that they want to do and they enjoy. But yeah, the reason I chose Shovel Knight as just a chill game to play is I've played this game a lot. This is one of my favorite games of all time. Definitely in my top 5. I don't know, this was one of the first games I played that was like a me game. When I purchased this game, I was in school. Not like in school currently, but like age-wise I was in school. And so this was one of the first games I ever like purchased on my own that was not like a group purchase or like this is a game for like me and my brothers. Like we split a lot of games, like we would buy games and we would split it among the 3 of us because it was a game we all wanted. But this was like a very personal game to me. And I don't really know why. I just saw YouTubers play it and I was like, this game looks awesome. I don't know if any of you guys saw. They're releasing a new Shovel Knight game, kind of. It's weird. They're releasing Shovel Knight DX, so it's just kind of like I guess a quote remaster of this game. And I have mixed feelings on it. I have mixed feelings on any like remake type thing. Do you need to remake a game like Shovel Knight? I don't think so personally, because I think that this game is not out of date. I think that this game still looks good, so you can't really do a graphical remaster in my opinion. And the gameplay is fine, so like what do you need to do? Sorry, I got a clutch. Okay. Oh, what was I talking about? Shovel Knight DX. It's cool that you'll be able to play all the other characters, and that's enough for me to want to buy the game. But like, anytime they make like a remaster or a remake of a game, I just kind of get pissed off. I already bought this game. Why do I want to buy it again? The reason I want to buy Shovel Knight again is because I love Yacht Club games and I love Shovel Knight. This is one of my favorite games of all time. Again, I think I already said this. I don't know. I feel like it's a thing that's happening a lot recently and I really don't appreciate it. Like, I play a lot of fighting games, and if you've seen my Guilty Gear video, which if you're watching this, odds are you have because that's my most popular video, is strangely enough actually not one of the ones I like that much. I like Exerd, but I like Arc Systems as a company. They made Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and that's one of my favorite fighting games of all time. Oh, I forgot I can get money from this guy. What? Oh, I thought he gave me money. Whatever, I misremembered. So yeah, that's one of my favorite games, and when they made Final Fantasy, that's not what I'm trying to say. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising. Sorry, fighting game titles are always such a mouthful. It's always a mess. They made Rising, and I saw that game. I was like, ooh, this kind of just looks like the exact same game. Do I even want to get it? And the answer ended up being yes, because I looked into it, and I was like, okay, they do a complete UI overhaul. I was like, okay, that's definitely good. And then they introduced new gameplay mechanics to make the game a lot more interesting. Because frankly, the first game kind of lacks depth. And it is still one of my favorite games despite that. When they released that, I was like, okay, new gameplay changes, new characters, whatever. It was good, and I liked it. I thought all of it looked pretty good. But then Under Night In-Birth 2 became a thing. And first of all, already off to a bad start for me, because if you're going to be remaking a game, and it's going to be almost exactly the same, don't call it 2, because that makes it sound like it's a brand new cool game. But I was looking at this and I was like, oh, this is exactly Under Night In-Birth. But like Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, I did more research into it and I was like, okay, the game basically just got a big patch. This is like Overwatch 2. But yeah, they didn't change that much. And so when I eventually did play the game, I was like, this is just the same game. And I love Under Night, but I'm like, I'm not spending $60 on this. There's so much I don't like about Under Night In-Birth 2. The game, like, completely isolated, like, in a vacuum, I think is perfectly fine. Inherently, there's nothing that wrong with the game. It's just the fact that I'm like, this is just the first game. Plus, in my opinion, they made the entire soundtrack worse. But I'll talk about that probably in its own video, because I don't want to make this Shovel Knight video just about Under Night. I feel like media as a whole, we're just doing a bunch of remakes and sequels because nobody has any original ideas anymore. I'm not trying to be like so cynical. I'm just saying that I like this era of games because I feel like this is where games had a lot of passion and care in them. I don't know, AAA titles have not been doing good recently. People try to pass off like anything as like, oh, this is a $60 game, this is a $70 game, and like, I wouldn't buy Pokemon Scarlet for $60 if I didn't feel completely obligated to. The reason I feel completely obligated to, I'm circling back to that, is I just love Pokemon. There are certain franchises that kind of no matter what they do, I'm going to buy their next game because it's so important to me. Games like Pokemon I grew up with. Fire Emblem is one of my favorite game franchises. Like, I'm going to buy the next Fire Emblem game. I'm gonna buy the next Pokemon game, even if they're terrible. I'm kind of part of the problem in a sense, but I don't know what to do about that. I think, in my opinion, the best like games for like console era was like 2000 to 2006 was kind of like, in my opinion, like where a lot of like the best games of all time were from. Obviously there's good games before and after, but like GameCube or like PS2 or Xbox 360, those were like good. Oh yeah. Little fun fact about me, I was in high school, I was in a lot of media classes, so I was like editing literally like every single day, which is part of the reason why I have a YouTube channel, is because I like to keep up on my editing skills. So I was editing very, very often, and for my final, I was making an animation. We could do whatever we wanted, but I was like, you know what? Even though I know it's going to be a complete pain in the ass, I'm going to make an animation. And you know what? It was a pain in the ass. Could I make better now? Yes. Would I? No, because I hate animating. Oh yeah, I didn't say. The animation was a Shovel Knight animation, which just sounds tremendously cringe, but you know, it was very me for the time period, you know? And so I still look on it fondly, even if it kind of sucks and it's very cringe. I would show it to you, but I don't want to. I know lots of people, like, when they say that, they're like, oh, I would show it to you, but I lost it or something. No, I have it. You're just not gonna see it. I'm not showing that to you. I'm too embarrassed by it. Maybe at some point it'll be like a sub goal or something. I don't know. So yeah, this game is very important to me. It's one of those games, there's actually a few games like this for me, where they don't inherently have very much replay value, but I play the hell out of them. So like with the Binding of Isaac, I have so many hours in the Binding of Isaac, and that's fine because that's a game that has a lot of replay value. But it also makes me wonder why I have so much time in a game like Shovel Knight. Like, I think I have approaching 500 hours or something in this game, and for why? I don't know. I just like it. It's a game I enjoy. Why do you play video games? Why do you watch YouTube? Why do you do what you do? Do you need a reason? Can you not just do something you like? I don't ever feel the need to explain myself for why I like certain things. Oh my god. Cut that out. Editor, which is me, cut that out. Do you ever play a game like that you've played before and you just think about the first time you ever played that game? I get that a lot with this game, and the first time I ever played this game, I fought Spectre Knight as my first boss instead of King Knight, which, while it is completely a viable thing you can do, they definitely don't want you to do that. This is definitely the harder boss, and on my first run I didn't find the Phase Locket, and so I was fighting this without any relics. And that was so freaking hard. I remember I spent like an hour on this boss. This was so hard, especially because I wasn't that big of a platformer at that time. It's just fun to go down memory lane, I suppose. Sometimes I forget that I'm a YouTuber, and when I'm recording things, I should probably do like YouTuber plugs and stuff. I always prioritize upgrading magic over health because I'm good at this game. Oftentimes, I feel like people are more critical of something that they enjoy. The first thing that comes to mind is not always things I like about it. Sometimes it's things that I'm like, oh, I wish this was like this. And it's not me trying to like bash the game. It's more of just like, I think that it would be better like this. We complain about it because we like it and want to see it be good, not because we think it's bad, if that makes sense. Because with Shovel Knight, unironically, biggest problem with the game, and this applies to basically every single route. I actually think Plague Knight does it the best, but there are certain relics or curios or whatever you call it that I just find to make the game way too easy. In Shovel Knight, it's the Phase Locket. In Spectre Knight, it's the, like, Skeletal Sentry or whatever. Plague Knight, I don't really feel like has it. King Knight has the hammer that heals you. Just kind of items that make it, like, impossible to lose. I actually have a thing I need to show you. So I love Shovel Knight. And so I did this, like, little challenge, I guess. I wish I did this after... I'm going to pause this clip. I wish I did this after I started YouTube, because I could have absolutely made this a YouTube video. Maybe I'll just do it again, but probably I'll do it on stream when I start streaming. I beat every single route of Shovel Knight without taking damage. I just have the cheat code on that says you get insta-killed, but it just shows just how unbalanced the sentry is. First of all, since I've been playing this fight for a while, I obviously am just throwing down sentries whenever I can. But here's the messed up thing. I die around here. And then this guy does 7 points of damage. 7 points of his, like, 20 health. That's, like, over a third. And he just dies. That's messed up. See, I have a serious problem with that. Like, some people are like, oh, if you don't like it, just don't do it. The thing is, I'm going to, because I can. I don't know. Like, I like to... I would like to... This map's hard. I forgot. It's so much harder to autopilot this, because I can autopilot, like, most of this game. But, this one's hard. This one is a hard map. I just think Phase Locket is not balanced, and it's my least favorite part about this game. My second least favorite thing about this game is that I'm not playing it all the time. I really... Oh my god. Never mind. This is the worst game I've ever played. Time to get the worst freaking relic in the game. I can't even imagine a time outside of literally this that I'd use the alchemy coin. Personally, my top 3 characters that I would have loved to see get routes. Or, no. I'll tell you my top 3 overall, because it's kind of hard, though. Because I do love Plague Knight so much because of Plague Knight's path. But would Plague Knight have been my favorite if I didn't have his character development? Because, honestly, frankly... there's not a lot to love about Treasure Knight because we don't see him really do anything. However, with that being said, Treasure Knight is my favorite, which is why he's my first example I went to. My next favorite is probably Propeller Knight, and then probably Plague Knight. Reese. He's one of those characters... I think it's the only, like, sprite work in this game that I really don't care for. Because, frankly, I don't know why his face looks like... Sorry, that sounds really mean. I don't know why his face looks like that, though. But I don't know. I just always found his sprite work to be a little bit weird. Let's get this. Just because, you know, you gotta... Yeah, Mr. Hat's my absolute favorite, and it's not even close. Oh, I just realized I should have fought Mr. Hat before spending all my money. Yeah, Shovel Knight obviously has 4 routes plus a fighting game. So I'm going to ask you, the viewer, what is your favorite route? For me personally, it's King of Cards, and it's not even close. In hindsight, maybe I should have been playing King of Cards for this, but I just feel like you gotta go with the OG. Yeah, I think I would never call any of the routes bad, but I do think my least favorite is Spectre Knights. It's the most interesting plot-wise, but I find it to be very, very, very easy. I think it's by far the easiest. I feel like you have no real platforming challenges, and your moveset is so powerful that you can just kind of decimate everybody by just mashing the attack button. This is my favorite level, and also my favorite theme, and also my favorite boss. Am I biased? Maybe. I mean, my name's literally Mr. Tsunami Man. Of course I'm gonna like the freaking water level. But I feel like in every game the water level sucks, except for this one. This one, it's goated. Because the water mechanics don't feel janky, they kind of just feel interesting, I guess. When I was doing my no damage run, by far the hardest, not by far. King Knight and Shovel Knight were definitely the hardest, though. Plague Knight, he has just such a powerful moveset that beating the game without taking damage is actually just not that hard. And again, as I mentioned earlier, Spectre Knight is just freaking busted. I think that one only took me like 5 hours to beat, while some of the other ones took me closer to like around double that or triple that. This stupid anchor. This is the worst part about the level, is that you get one of the like most meh relics of all time. It's good for killing specifically that guy though, I'll give it that. Oh, okay, I've talked about this so many times. This is the best game design I've literally ever seen in any game. This stage you're almost entirely in water. Like up until around this, you're in water, but in this whole segment you're just falling down. You know, you're not jumping, you're not really experiencing the low gravity. And so when you go into this place with the checkpoint, you can't jump up here. It's just too high. You would be able to jump up there if you had the underwater. So they force you to recognize the fact that you are no longer in water. And I think that is really, really smart. I remember I found this to be one of the hardest levels the first time I played it. I think the only one that I thought was harder on my first run was Mole Knight and Propeller Knight stage. I think the rest of them I thought were easier than this. Oh, you ready for Peak? This is the best character we've ever seen. Oh, he's so cool. I love freaking scuba diver character. It's a shame he's so easy. I feel like an important part of a YouTube channel is like user engagement. So what's like a cool question I could ask you guys? That's my user engagement. What question should I ask you to get you engaged? This is my least favorite stage. I don't know. I've never been a fan of like, I don't know, how do I word this? I guess I'm a guy who likes things that I find aesthetically pleasing. I feel like this is called just like liking things. I don't think that there's like a greater than that. I think it's literally just I like certain things. And so I'm just gonna say I don't like this environment because I find it gross or unappealing, and so it makes it my least favorite stage. Other environments I don't generally care for are deserts. I can just imagine my throat being dry, you know? Which reminds me, oh, this is a fun memory. Battlefield 1, in my opinion, is the best shooter game ever made. I don't think there's more fun I've had with a shooter game than with Battlefield 1. But I remember I used to play the open beta so much before the actual game came out. But like they only had like the desert level, and I hated the desert level so much. Since I was literally playing this game like eight or more hours a day on this same map, I started to be like in my own head where I was like, oh my god, my throat is dry just from being in this environment. I found out later that I just got sick, but it was a funny coincidence. And even though, you know, I hate being sick and it's an inherently negative thing, that is still kind of a fun memory. Oh, he's dead. Oh my god, I hate... Oh my... Okay. So fun fact about me is I don't gamer rage at all. I don't know if that's unusual, but I'm just a pretty cool and composed guy. So I don't like lose it whenever things like that happen. I feel like most people have like, oh, this is like one of my top games of all time. But like, I feel like what I would say is a top game for me right now might not be in my top 5 of all time, you know? I love this game, and this one is definitely in my top 5 games of all time. Marvel Rivals, I've been loving that game a lot, and that's like the most fun I've had with a shooter game since Battlefield 1. But would I call it one of my top games of all time? Right now I'm not convinced I can, and that's not to discount how much I enjoy it. I just don't know if I could really give it that title. If I look at like the grand scheme of things, what do I think are the most important and most best awesome games I've ever played? Marvel Rivals is up there, but it's not like... I mean, when I think about games that have, like, historical importance to me that I love so dearly, I think of, like, Monkey Ball and Luigi's Mansion and Shovel Knight and Smash Bros. Those are all games that are super duper important to me for a lot of reasons. And Marvel Rivals is just fun. So I just don't know. I don't know how to... Can you quantify your happiness? Is that a thing? This is one of my favorite stages. I like the Clockwork theme. Earlier I said I didn't like the desert theme, and I don't like the like volcano theme. Clockwork though, really cool. Monkey Ball is the best game ever made. I would say that Under Night in Birth and Monkey Ball have 2 of the best soundtracks of all time. My suggestions from both of them is listen to World 3 theme from Monkey Ball and also the World 8 theme. from Monkey Ball. And then when it comes to Under Night In-Birth, honestly, just do yourself a favor and listen to the whole thing. It's really good. And you know what? Screw it. I am going to talk a little bit about Under Night In-Birth too, because I don't like that game. There is so much I don't like about it. And again, none of it's to do with the gameplay, kind of. The only thing I can say about the gameplay is that it should have been changing more instead of just being Under Night In-Birth 1. But the soundtrack, they just kind of, quote, remixed every song, but it sounds nearly exactly the same. And all they really did was like, oh, here's like one new sound in the background, and here's a mediocre guitar solo. I meant to do Polar Night first, but it's okay. What happened to Let's Plays? I feel like there used to be so many Let's Plays channels, but nowadays you can't. Sometimes I want to just be like, oh, I'll just release me playing a video game, but that just feels like, you know, nothing. I can't just release a video of me playing a video game. I need to do something. There needs to be a gimmick. And that's what I don't like about media as a whole. This isn't just video games or videos or whatever. It applies to like everything. I feel like everything needs a gimmick nowadays. These freaking guys, these, I don't know what they're called actually. They're like meanies. I think they call them meanies, something like that. See, that's what they do. They ruin your day, they make you fall off a cliff, and they make you not want to play this game anymore. My Minecraft video I made, which you should also watch, and if you watch that, you should also subscribe because you're awesome. That's actually one of my favorite videos I've made. Because it was a funny gimmick of like, it's mostly just me playing Minecraft, but just with the funny bit of like, it's a speed run, but obviously it's not. But I'm just talking the entire time, and I find that to be fun. I feel like it's a way for me to get my thoughts out of my brain and into the world. Oh my god. Screw this. It's just kind of me being me, and not that my edited videos are not me, but that one is more me. I don't, maybe this is cringe, I don't know. I don't care what's cringe. I wish Among Us was still really popular. I think the modding community actually kind of killed it. And I like Modded Among Us. I've played Modded Among Us, it's really fun. I feel like it leads to the downfall. Oh my god, where am I? So yeah, I feel like things just got out of hand with mods. Like, proximity chat was fun, but then I just feel like it started getting too crazy with like new roles. Now it's just too hard to keep track of what people are even doing. But I truly do wish Among Us was still popular, because I feel like it's such a fun game, because it's more about the people and less about the game. You're just kind of doing things with your friends, and I like that. I feel like it allows people to be more social. So I do miss it, but I'm not about to make Among Us content. I don't know, I'm not doing that. If anybody wants to play Among Us, like, I'll play Among Us, but I don't know. At this point, it's just cringe, so I probably wouldn't even make a YouTube video on it. Which I guess goes against, oh my god. I guess it goes against the whole purpose of this video, where I'm making this because I want to. That's interesting for me to think about. Because what makes this video okay for me to make? Because I don't care what people think. But the Among Us not okay for me to make because it's cringe. I feel like it seems dramatic to say I'll look inward on that, but I am actually curious why I feel that way. I'm gonna try and speedrun this level because I honestly don't want to play this. I don't like this level very much. It's just not fair. This is the one time that I feel like you use the horn. This is where the horn's like busted. They get 5 big booms. Boom, 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 boom. Alrighty, we're doing this. I don't like the Nintendo Switch that much. Oh my god, no. I don't like the Nintendo Switch very much, but there are certain games that I feel like just work well on the Nintendo Switch. Like Shovel Knight, for instance. Also Crypt of the Necrodancer, great game. Also great on the Switch. Yeah, like, not that intensive games are actually really good on the Switch. Yeah, these games are games, which is strange. Oh my god, this just looks so cool. Can't argue that this isn't, like, completely awesome. This, oh my god, never mind, this game sucks. I forgot that there was a guy there. Anyways, he's dead. Okay, I'm embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed by that I am not cutting that out. Oh my god, I almost did it again. That would have been bad. I remember I died a lot on this segment. It kind of like baffles me. I'm not like, oh, Literally, as I was about to say that, like, I don't die on that segment anymore, I die. It does kind of surprise me how, like, not good at this game I was on my first run through. Because I can't even imagine being that bad at this game anymore. I do wish this boss rush was a little bit harder. I don't think they needed to give you, like, healing after, like, every single thing. Fish. So when I was, beating this boss, I just realized I wasn't talking throughout this entire boss rush. When I beat this boss rush without taking any damage, I had to, it was so bad because the thing is, since I couldn't take damage, the entire thing was hard. So I could use the chalices. I could either use the invincibility chalices or I could use the health chalices to refill my my magic. But the real problem was that if I used my chalices and then died, I would have to do the entire level again if I wanted to fill them up. And so I actually made a spreadsheet, like an honest to God spreadsheet of like how much mana I was allowed to use on each fight. And obviously, when I'm actually playing the fight, if I use more or less, that's just how it goes. But I would like be like, okay, I'm allowed to use like 3 or 4 Chaos Spheres for King Knight. I need all of my Phase Locket for Polar Knight. I don't need any mana for this guy, whatever. I had like a full spreadsheet. It was crazy. Meanwhile, when I did that with Plague Knight, it was just not that hard because he has such good like DPS that he just doesn't. I didn't need to do that. That's that. Cruel if you don't save at least like Treasure Knight. Like, I mean, I could save like up to here, and then like I could drop the rest of them, but I mean, I'll just save them all. Why not? All right, final boss time, which means my time with you is almost over. When in Rome, they say. I'm just gonna do it because this boss fight's kind of easy. Haha. Got her. You know, I feel like, in an interesting way, this video is not about Shovel Knight. One thing I don't like about this boss fight is I don't want to think about how the Enchantress's proportions work. It's like her... Like, if you look at like where her legs are, she either has like comically small legs. I mean, and she doesn't even have feet. She's weird. She's weird. Oh, does that not work? I've literally never tried to use it against her. And yeah, the game's done. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed the ride. I know I did. Any excuse to play my favorite game of all time, which is not this, but any excuse to play one of my favorite games of all time, you know? So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, sleep well.